Hi guys, DrBiology here, and this is a quick update, update 7, and just to give you some more information, particularly about the development of a vaccine here in the UK. So there's been some very interesting things going on recently that I'm going to tell you about and go through with you. And the first thing to say is this video is based on what Professor Sarah Gilbert, a vaccinologist from the University of Oxford, was saying very recently, in fact this morning, and some really interesting prospects for good progress on producing a vaccine. So they're about to start a clinical trial, hopefully in about a week's time, and they're just waiting for final safety approvals. And they're looking for healthy volunteers to do this trial with. And then what they're hopefully going to be doing is trying a new vaccine using a well understood type of vaccine to immunize people. And eventually they'll be doing some further clinical trials related to looking to see whether it works in the general population.
Okay, so it is the 19th of April 2020, and this person here is Professor Sarah Gilbert, a vaccinologist at the University of Oxford, and she was on the Andrew Marr show, and she talked a lot of sense. So I'm going to go through what she spoke about because her and her team are involved in the UK response to developing a vaccine. Now, if you remember my previous video on the race for the vaccine, the professor did talk about the start of clinical trials. So they're going to be doing trials on healthy volunteers by the end of April. And after that, they're going to start to immunize more people. But what they're going to do is they're going to do a randomized program, or what we call a double-blind trial. So what they're planning to do is give 50% of the volunteers the coronavirus vaccine. So let's say that is A. And in group B, they're going to give them another vaccine that's already licensed to protect from meningitis. And what they'll do is that after they've done that, they'll allow obviously the people to go back to their normal lives. They won't know who's had which vaccine. So that's where the doctor and the patients don't know whether they've had the vaccine. And the volunteers, sorry, not patients, they're volunteers, they will report back over time. And as people are infected, it will test them to see whether they've had positive results for Covid-19. And then the statisticians, the people working out the data, they can find out which group got the most infected. And obviously, what we're hoping for is, well, what the team are hoping is that the virus infections will only be in the meningitis group, and that will then prove to us that the vaccine has worked. So once the scientists have demonstrated that the vaccine works, then they need to prepare for manufacturing. So what's interesting to state is, and this is from the professor, that there is no manufacturing plants in the UK at the moment, and she was stating that whilst they're doing the research, the government need to be developing manufacturing plants using current pharmaceutical companies, which need to convert their manufacturing processes to ensure that they can produce lots of vaccine quickly. What's great to hear as well is that the vaccine will be available for all the public, not just here, but across the world. And they obviously want to make it available cheaply. On a slightly negative side, though, and this is why this professor was so good, she did state that immunity might not be long-lived from COVID-19, as in other coronaviruses. And it's important that a vaccine is administered, and you might have to have more vaccines in the future to ensure that you are immune. But overall, it's good news. There is a lot of research going on, a lot of science going on, and hopefully we will have a vaccine to treat all people and to develop a herd immunity. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back shortly. Please do subscribe to DrBiology for more updates and more information on GCSE and A-level biology.